Okay, I'll go ahead and get us started so we make sure we have our time. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Julie Chabdi, the Associate Director of the Health and Wellbeing Program with the WorkWell Center and your host for today. Welcome to EatWell Bites spring semester. We're really excited to be able to continue our EatWell Bites series sponsored by the USC Healthy Campus EatWell Subcommittee. Today's topic is decoding superfoods and can they superpower your diet? Throughout today's session, you're welcome to use a chat to make comments or ask questions about today's topic. At the end, we'll have time for Q&A as well as share announcements for future sessions, have you complete an evaluation form, and we'll also do a raffle prize. Please make sure you're muted to minimize any background noise. And before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the devastating fires that are happening throughout LA and extend our thoughts, our well wishes, and our support to all those that may be impacted by the devastating fires and winds in some way. So on behalf of the WorkWell Center, we extend our heartfelt support during this incredibly difficult time. Please feel free to reach out if you need any support. We can be reached by phone at 213-821-0800 or by email at workwell@usc.edu. Now, moving forward, I'd like to thank our EatWell co-leads, Professor Carrie Kreutzer with the USC Leonard School, Davis School of Gerontology, and Keck School of Medicine, as well as Lindsay Pine, dining dietitian with USC Hospitality. We're very excited to continue our monthly sessions the first Thursday of every month, bringing you tips, practical tools, and resources to improve your health and quality of life through nutrition and healthy eating habits. So over the next 30 minutes, we'll be hearing from our expert speaker around this really important topic. And a huge thanks to the rest of our Eat Well subcommittee, who has been working really hard to create a health promoting food environment here at USC. So thank you. And as always, we invite you to feel free to stand, stretch, move anytime during this session in a way that feels best for you. And with that, I am very excited to introduce our presenter for today. We have Karina Chu, who is a bariatric dietitian with Keck Medicine of USC. And with that, please join me in welcoming Karina.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here and having me here. I will be covering the topic of superfoods, so we will go ahead and dive right in. So today we will go over what a superfood is, how we can add them to our diet, and last but not least, how we can focus on an overall healthy diet. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is a a lot in recent years, but it's essentially a nutrient-rich food that's packed with vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and antioxidants. These nutrients can help optimize our health and can help reduce inflammation, which we'll definitely get into. There's technically no true definition of what a superfood is because so many different foods out there have unique beneficial nutrients. That's why we're kind of connecting it back to an overall healthy diet at the end of this series. Because of this, the term superfood is often used as a marketing tactic to sell products and affect food trends, getting you as the customer to buy certain foods. So a little bit of audience participation here. I wanted to open it up and ask some questions. If you guys want to either use the chat function or unmute yourself, what is a superfood that you've heard of before? I know a lot of different ones have gained popularity in recent years. Okay, seeing some really good examples in the chat. Sea moss, very popular on social media, kale, quinoa. Berries and beets are all really great examples. Okay, next slide, please. So we can kind of notice that the examples of the superfoods that you are all familiar with, for example, like the chia seeds or the berries, have all kind of gained some popularity in recent years. But what is really the common factor among all of these superfoods? Essentially, they have nutrients that help reduce inflammation and promote good gut health. One of the main factors in reducing inflammation is antioxidants, which is technically an umbrella term for molecules that pick up on unstable free radicals. Now, where do these free radicals really come from? They are technically molecules that are formed during any form of, cell process. So, for example, cell metabolism, breathing, digesting, or even your body maintaining hormones and tissues will release free radicals. Other factors from the environment, like air pollutants, chemicals, and all of those things in between, like smoking, can also form free radicals in your body. What the antioxidant does is that it pairs and picks up on these free radicals that are damaging. So you end up with improved immunity and reduced inflammation. A lot of research has found that antioxidants can help slow cancer development and it can support brain and heart health. So, kind of like we briefly talked about, the term antioxidant is just an umbrella term, just like a lot of terms in the science field. It actually contains a subcategory called phytochemicals, which are found in all plants. So, think your fruits, veggies, beans, and grains. You'll notice that each different type of fruit and veggie can have a specific phytochemical. For example, red and purple berries, like blueberries, have anthocyanidins. Orange and dark leafy greens have beta carotene, and carrots and bell peppers have carotenoids. This is a big reason why the saying, eat the rainbow, makes sense. We want a variety of phytochemicals or antioxidants helping to reduce inflammation. Diving in a little bit deeper, phytochemicals themselves actually contain even more subcategories. So it's kind of like a little ladder of all of these different helpful nutrients. For example, there's polyphenols, which are the biggest subcategory of phytochemicals. For example, plant seeds, skins, or leaves have phenolic acids, such as capsaicin in bell peppers or chili peppers and vanillin. Another chemical is a flavonoid, which is an example of a polyphenol. It can be found in things like tea, wine, berries, and citrus, which is why sometimes you'll see in the Mediterranean diet, wine is okay in moderation. Other examples are steel beans, which are found in mixed nuts, berries again, and grapes. Lignans are found in flax seeds, sesame seeds, legumes, soy products, and grains. So these are all kind of just a few examples of all the molecules that are helping to reduce inflammation in your body. Next slide, please. So you guys named some really good examples of superfoods. What are some more common examples and why are they so helpful? So kind of like it was brought up in the chat, berries are super full of antioxidants and flavonoid molecules. More specifically, the ones that have become popular in recent years are like the acai berry, goji berries, and blueberries. Legumes like beans contain B vitamins, minerals, and fiber, which all help to manage type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, and cholesterol. The fiber inside also helps feed the good gut bacteria in your microbiome and can help regulate your digestive system. Legumes are often encouraged and part of a plant-based diet because they help, all of these conditions, and overall create a healthy diet. Within nuts and seeds, they have a lot of omega-3 fats that help reduce triglycerides and low-density lipoprotein, also known as LDL cholesterol. Next slide, please. So we went over a couple of the whole superfoods, but I know we've all heard of these different superfood powders out there now. If you've ever heard of spirulina, it's an algae containing an antioxidant called phycocyanin. It also contains micronutrients like thiamine, copper, and iron, which can help our cells function at their best state. Bee pollen, which has commonly been added into smoothies or as a acai bowl topper, contains a lot of carotenoids, flavonoids, and unsaturated fats, as well as additional vitamins. If we're adding bee pollen to our diet, it can help lower cholesterol, prevent harmful blood clots, and block any harmful enzyme activity that might cause further inflammation in your body. Another popular superfood in recent years has been wheatgrass, where you might have heard of, wheatgrass shots or drinks being available at your local smoothie shop. Wheatgrass contains really good calcium, amino acids, fiber, and also other phytochemicals or antioxidants that help increase the oxygen in your body and improve your blood sugar levels. Next slide, please. So we've kind of touched on the anti-inflammatory effects of antioxidants, but what about the gut health effects? Gut health has been big in research in recent years. Your gut essentially has a microbiome that's filled with good and bad bacteria. The more good gut bacteria you have, the better immune health you can have. So what are some of the general factors that affect your gut health? Some of the things include like your mode of birth delivery, genetics, any medications you're currently on or have taken in the past. Um, these are all things that can affect that gut microbiome. The best way to feed good gut bacteria is to have a diverse diet. So kind of thinking back to eating the rainbow, especially adding on probiotic containing foods like yogurt, kefir, or fermented dairy can be helpful for feeding that good gut bacteria. Other popular probiotics in different cultures also include sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, and kombucha. And another nutrient that can actually help provide food for the probiotics themselves are prebiotics, which are typically found in those fiber-rich foods. So think prunes, wheat bran, legumes, garlic, and onions. Next slide, please. So, with all this information out there, how do we really incorporate these superfoods into our diets? It becomes a little bit less daunting when we're kind of just adding them to top off our meals or snacks. For example, you can have yogurt and berries as a breakfast a couple times a week. If you're a fan of fruit or green smoothies, you can always add a little spoonful of spirulina or wheatgrass. And if you're big on snacking and consider yourself kind of like a grazer, snacking on mixed nuts with those omega-3 fatty acids and those unsaturated fats, or even making energy balls out of dates, nuts, cacao powder, or hemp or flax seeds can be something that you might want to try. These are just some of the easy ways that you can kind of top off your day-to-day diet with some of these superfoods. But it can be kind of difficult if we are hyper focusing on superfoods. Opening it up to audience participation again. If you guys want to unmute yourself or use a chat function, which superfoods do you like to incorporate into your diet? Or if you already include them, how do you fit them in? Okay, so some good comments on kimchi, fruit salad. Really great ideas there. Fruits are a really great way to add some color and to make sure you get in those vitamins, minerals, and all those different antioxidants. Sea moss, 1 spoon a day, has been really great for gut health. Homemade trail mix is a great idea. Okay, all super creative. Next slide, please. Okay, so ultimately, although superfoods can really help optimize our diet, it's important to focus more on an overall healthy diet, right? Sometimes superfoods can get really costly. If we're thinking about your standard jar of sea moss at the grocery store, I've seen some of them run for about $10 for a small jar. So over time, it can really add up. It can make more sense to focus on foundational healthy habits with a variety of foods rather than focusing on just a few specific ones. For example, we want to include fresh fruits and veggies, whole grains, legumes or beans, nuts, and lean proteins all in our balanced diet. Kind of like we talked about earlier, a colorful diet usually means one with many different vitamins or minerals. Making sure that your plate isn't just monochrome is a good way to know that you're kind of getting all these different nutrients that can help our body systems in multiple different ways. And then, of course, making sure, there is some cultural diversity in your meals and snacks can be helpful. For example, including kimchi sometimes, sauerkraut, fermented dairy, all are great ideas. Um, Each cuisine has different ways of combining food, ingredients, flavors, and spices, which themselves have multiple benefits to add something new to your diet. So you can always reach out to a dietitian for more support. Thank you all for joining in on the presentation. Feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you so much, Karina, for that really great overview of superfoods. We wanted to leave time for you all to ask any questions that you might have. So feel free to put it in the chat or come off mute if you'd like to ask any questions about some of the information that was presented today. And what a great way to kick off the new year for all of us that are thinking about our diets and eating healthier this year. I think you laid out a really nice plan with a lot of great ideas for us. So let's see what kinds of questions we have from the audience. I know we usually have a lot of questions, so we'll give them a few more minutes to put something in the chat. And I can kick us off with asking you, what are some of your favorite superfoods, Karina, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks? What are your go-tos?
Yeah, I think my most common superfoods that I kind of add into my diet are probably the yogurt and the berries. I think yogurt is really an easy way to add in some protein to help balance out your meal, keep you full for a little bit longer. And then the fruits and the berries are always an easy way to add so much diversity, especially since there are so many options in the grocery stores out there. You can always mix and match different yogurts or types of fruits or even, spirulina or some sort of, superfood powder on there. So it's an easy way to kind of switch things up while keeping things kind of in a routine.
Great. And then in terms of yogurt, can you speak a little bit to like picking a yogurt? Would Greek yogurt be better? If someone doesn't like the taste of Greek yogurt, what
Yeah.
about your thoughts on yogurt that has some fruit in it and then the sugar levels and some of your thoughts on yogurt?
Typically, I like opting for like a Greek yogurt because of the high protein content as well as all of the probiotics that are in it. Technically, any yogurt has different types of probiotics, so I usually suggest opting for just including some into your diet. Having a little bit of that probiotic containing food in there is always beneficial. Typically, I prefer going for more of the fresh fruits so that the sugar content stays a little bit on the lower side. However, I think, if we like the flavor option and that helps us include a variety of foods in our diet, I think that's a totally fine way to incorporate yogurt.
Great. And we're getting some questions now. So on this slide, Eleni would like you to explain what you mean by mode of birth delivery.
Yeah, of course. So there are the main two modes of birth delivery would be through C-section or through vaginal birth. What research has found is that babies who are delivered through C-section are found to have slightly, weaker immune systems at birth because they aren't going through the vaginal canal of the mother, which can help with that immune system there. So just small factors like that can play a slight role in that gut microbiome.
Interesting. Thank you for that. Would you recommend to add collagen to our diet? And is it healthy to our gut? Collagen.
Yeah, I would say collagen can be helpful for skin, nails, and joint health. If we're adding collagen to, for example, smoothies or oatmeal, I usually recommend pairing it with another protein just to kind of help round out your diet. We don't consider collagen a complete protein, so it doesn't have all of the essential amino acids that our body can produce. So pairing it with something can help optimize it a little bit more.
Good to know. And how about overnight oats? Are they healthy for diabetics? Do oats, I guess, cause your blood glucose to rise?
Yeah, so because oats are considered a carb, your blood glucose will rise a little bit. However, there is some of that fiber in there, especially in something like steel cut oats. So it can be a good option in terms of pairing the fiber with some of that starchy carb. That can help manage your blood glucose levels, but you can always speak with the dietitian to figure out how to kind of best pair different foods for your diet.
And Crystal is asking, she's an on-the-go mom, balancing work and home life, and would like to add more anti-inflammatory um, diet for on-the-go people. What would you recommend for anti-inflammatories?
So if we're thinking about anti-inflammation and kind of the antioxidants that will help reduce that, the easiest way I found is to just really focus on the fruits and veggies. So something quick like an apple or a small tangerine can be quick and easy on the go. Veggies like celery and a little bit of peanut butter, or for example, just some carrot sticks with hummus with that, the chickpea dip can be helpful in kind of making sure that that snack sustains you throughout the day. I think we did another presentation on snacking earlier in the year, so there's also some good information and resources on that as well.
Yes, and then going back to the yogurt comment earlier, what are your thoughts on adding honey to yogurt?
Honey does have some, great benefits as well. I think if we're adding that to yogurt and it helps kind of improve the taste profile for you, I think that is a great idea. Making sure that our diet is balanced and that you can fit all foods in there to make sure that you have good diversity is really important.
And you talked about whole superfoods for this presentation. What about drinking our superfoods like powder drinks with all the vitamins, et cetera? What are your thoughts on that?
So I am a huge proponent of, whole foods. Reaching for your veggies and your fruits is always a good way to add fresh things to your diet. However, powder drinks or like your standard green juices or greens powders can be helpful if you find that it's difficult to include the volume of fruits and veggies that are typically recommended for a diet. I usually recommend making sure that you have some sort of whole fruit or whole veggie in your diet, and then we can top it off with some of those superfood powder drinks.
Sauerkraut, can it be out of a can like you get at the grocery store, or is there a better form of sauerkraut that's better for you?
So when I view canned veggies in general, I think that they are just as good as fresh or frozen veggies. A lot of our companies and brands out there will make sure that they're canning things at their peak season or at optimal, levels of preparation. So I think canned sauerkraut and even jarred sauerkraut are both great options. Sauerkraut itself already has the probiotics in there. So the method of storing, I don't think makes a huge difference in the benefits that you're getting out of it.
Got it. And we have two more questions. You're doing a great job here, Karina. Is a superfood like Irish moss basically a commodity and worth buying from the cheapest source, or do the brands matter?
I would definitely recommend doing a little bit of research on different brands themselves. If we're looking for sea moss itself, it's important to recognize, okay, do you want something that has extra additives in it? Are you okay with something like that? Or do you want something that's just fully fresh, natural sea moss? Figuring out what you would like to prioritize can be helpful in identifying which superfoods matter the most to you. Overall, making sure that you have a well-balanced diet can be more helpful than maybe focusing on the type of sea moss that you're purchasing, but overall making sure that the brand is something that you like and that its ingredients are something that you are okay with is important as well.
Great. And we actually have a couple questions in the Q&A as well that I didn't see. So three more questions, Karina. If you're not a fan of yogurt, are there good substitutes?
Yeah, so a lot of my patients and clients often don't like the yogurt because of the texture. The interesting part about yogurt is that depending on the brand or the type of yogurt, they can have a very different taste, texture, or even mouthfeel. If you've consistently tried Greek yogurt and you don't like how thick it is or, the tanginess of it, usually you can try something like coconut yogurt or soy yogurt, which can be a little bit thinner. If it's just yogurt in general, other, good breakfast options where you can help, add some superfoods in there as well is potentially like cottage cheese and fruit, or you can opt for like your standard smoothie bowl with multiple fruits and veggies in there just to kind of get in some variety of antioxidants and nutrients.
Great. And then two more questions. This person is stating that they know superfoods are healthy, but it seems to me a lot of it is about trends. Are there other superfoods out there that you think are super healthy, but are considered boring and haven't gotten a lot of attention? Or maybe superfoods that will be the next big trend that aren't getting attention right now?
Hmm. That's a really good question. Yeah, definitely. So with superfoods, kind of like we talked about. So superfoods, there technically isn't a true definition, right? It is sort of like this marketing tactic where they want you to purchase new things that they feel like might be a little bit more beneficial to your overall health and to kind of affect food trends that way. We want to consider how each different food, whether in the grocery store, whether you're making it at home, from scratch, from the farm, all of these different foods have different nutrients. So that's why it's important to really have a diverse diet. Um, in terms of superfoods, potential superfoods that I feel like might become more popular. I can't necessarily think of anything, but I think over the years, I think we will kind of gravitate more towards the standard fruits and veggies, as well as fiber, like in whole grains, whole wheat bread. Those things will gradually become, I think, more important, especially as processed foods can become more available. So making sure that we are feeding that good gut bacteria can be especially important in maintaining that healthy diet.
Great. Here's one about collagen, that this person has heard that there's really no evidence for it or that the molecules possibly are too big to have an impact. Is that true, or what thoughts may you have on collagen?
I think collagen can definitely be helpful in certain ways, right? If we are relying on collagen itself to kind of help heal our joints or reduce inflammation, maybe not the most efficient way. So I think if we're using collagen in terms of adding it to something, I think that can be a better way of combining it to maximize the nutrition that it provides. Depending on, physical activity levels and what you're looking for to kind of improve your health, collagen can be really helpful in repairing your muscles and your joints. It can be important because over time, as we age, collagen production depletes and it kind of reduces. So for some people, adding collagen can be really helpful. It all just kind of depends on how you want to optimize your diet and what you think is most important to you.
Okay, last question. I think this is a quick and easy one. Is what do you think about mixing veggies and fruit drinks in the blender?
Yeah, good question. I think if we're blending the veggies and fruits, I think that's a great way to make sure that the fiber is still in the smoothie. When we think about juicers, on the other hand, sometimes it can remove all of that good fiber in there because you're just getting the juice. So if I were to pick, creating a smoothie, I would opt for like the blending option rather than the juicing option.
Great. Thank you so much, Karina, for answering all those great questions. And thank you to our
Right.
audience for all of your questions as well. In our last minute together, I just wanted to share that we will continue monthly with the Eat Well Bites session next month. We'll be on setting up your kitchen for success. So really excited about that. Don't forget to check out our Eat Well meals all over campus. Look for the logo at the dining kiosks and apps. And these are nutrient-rich, flavorful, balanced meals in partnership with hospitality. We are putting together our Eat Well cookbook finally, and it's in the final stages of review and should have a cookbook ready sometime this year for all of you, showcasing our faculty and staff submissions. In the meantime, we have our cooking videos and recipes on our Eat Well website, various breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack ideas for you to check out, and our various guides on balanced dining on campus, healthy eating at meetings and events, a guide for USC Village, as well as Trader Joe's. So check out these resources and look for the upcoming sessions. Make sure you sign up and spread the word. Really excited for next month on the setting up your kitchen for success. So we hope to see you there. And then finally, we ask that you fill out the evaluation form, and we'll drop that in the link in the chat. Your feedback is important to us. Let us know what topics you'd like to hear in the future. And we want to do a raffle before we wrap up, and we'll also be sending you the slides. So let me stop sharing, and we will spin the wheel here for our lucky raffle winner. Thank you, everyone. And we'll be raffling off a gift card. So everyone who has entered is on our wheel. And we are spinning the wheel to see who is our winner, and we'll be reaching out to you to coordinate delivery. Kelly Russo Bear, congratulations. And thank you all for being here today. Stay safe out there. Remember to reach out if you need any support from the Workwell Center. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.